Good morning, everybody. Please leave comments in the comments section. Hit like and subscribe. This is Tom and the Servant for another Raw Talk. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Steve.
It wasn't Jim Panda. It was probably Stingray, and uh, he was like, well, you could have skin cancer, melanoma, for your whole life, and not even know it, and then be 3 weeks away from dead before you get symptoms.
That's when you ask him for a citation on that.
Well, yeah, yeah, I would have, but it's like I don't fear death like that. You know what I mean? Like, good
Right.
if I don't feel any symptoms and I die, okay, like they're the ones that have this one shot to live or whatever, you know.
Well,
So
you've seen that video. I sent you a link to a video of that doctor explaining the three different
oh
types of way they're going to vaccinate you. So you know,
yeah,
so you should have had that information, at least
could
some
have
of
used
that
that.
available.
You're right. I could have
And I'm
said,
just saying, like next time to think about that, because I mean, I'm like, you, when you go in debates, you're like a million times better than me because like when I go into it, I don't think of the answer until 5 minutes after the fact, and then it's another topic already.
right.
They're like, "Oh man, now I remember." You know what I'm saying?
If I have the
But you,
perfect shit
most
to
of the
say,
time, off the
man.
cuff, you do really good.
Well, you know what I was I'm the same way as you. Like, if I get mad, or if I get, like, not mad, but like if I get emotional about it, like I'll won't think of the right thing at the right time, and I still don't. But like now I just do it like super calm, Like, if they come at me with something ridiculous, like, okay, well, I'm gonna draw in a horizon or whatever. Like, at that point where I feel like I'm about to get mad at them, I just go, oh, okay, well, I don't think we could argue beyond that point because, you're just drawing in something with a pencil, on a photograph,
Right.
and so like, but like, I do know, like, that when I would debate like prior, that I would get like emotionally involved because I want to convince either them or the audience or whatever.
The thing is, I wish you'd get that mindset gone instead of trying to convince anybody anything. Just think about all I want to do is tell them the truth, and then it's up to
Yeah.
them to accept it. Because I mean, there's a big difference. Some word came to me this morning, and it kind of was along that line about like like when Jesus told them, like if you go and preach, and if they don't accept it, you know, leave the town and even take the dirt off the bottom of your sandals. Say, don't even take their sand, their dirt with you. And what he's saying is don't mean you don't pray for them. You preach the truth. You have after you tell the truth, you have zero to do with anything after that. That's between them and God. Just like when we get saved, when we were
Yeah.
witness to what that other person said isn't what mattered. It had nothing to do with because the harder you try to convince somebody or keep going at them, it turns them away. That truth,
Does.
to me, goes to their heart and sits there, and God then will wake that up if the person allows it to. You know what I'm saying? That seed will start to grow. If not, there's nothing you can do to convince anybody of anything unless they come to you asking you to show you something.
You're right.
Because
That's
then they're
that's
open, they're looking for truth. But if no one's looking for it, all you can do is say it. After that, it is totally between them and God on anything.
it
You know
is. I
what I
mean,
mean?
it seems like uh I do, and I have a bad habit of doing that where I'll like continue like I'll care about a person like long after. I mean, of course we still care, but like I'll still want to be involved and keep trying long after I'm supposed to really quit. And all it really does is make them angry at me and less likely to change.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. I'm gonna find this text because I shared that video like that. I know you'd seen it already. Well, I didn't know it when I sent it to you about that one lady doctor talking about the three ways they can
Yeah, with
inject
the
you. But check
Yes.
this out. So I send that video to a lot of people. I sent it to one brother, and here's what he says. Interesting video. Not sure if they are going to make the COVID-19 vaccine law. Well, he's wrong. Doubt it, he says. It is crazy how vaccines are engineered. They have saved many lives.
No, but he doesn't know that to say that.
That's what I'm getting at. And well, I
Huh?
guess my point is on that is after that he sent that text back, I didn't send, I mean, I wanted to kind of like just, are you really that dumb? But I didn't.
Right.
I actually didn't even send him another text. I can't, if I just get mad and we get back and forth with a text fight, what good is that
Right.
done? I sent him the video. He's seen the information. I can't go beyond that. I can't go into his brain and say, hey, open your eyes and look at what's happening in the world. That's between him and God now. He's been shown,
Yeah.
right? We plant, God waters. That's simple.
Well, sometimes I wonder, like with certain people, like say, like with like my brother or something. Like I'll be trying to tell him something, and I have this feeling that just because it's me, he takes the opposite side. You know, like
And
if
that's a very
somebody,
good possibility.
you know what I mean? Like if it was someone else from the outside saying it, maybe he would listen to it. You know?
But the thing is,
And
either way, you did
yeah,
drop the truth on him.
I have. I've dropped it
You know what
on
I
him to
mean? So
where.
you've done your part. I'm not saying
Yeah,
don't ever witness to anybody or say stuff to people,
yeah,
but don't you trying to
I get what you're
convince
saying.
anybody who doesn't want to be convinced, you're doing more harm than good.
Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel, and in every case too. You know, and like um,
But
I was,
let me give you a
yeah,
real world example.
yeah,
You know, I run a business, so I always got salespeople of this sort or that sort or whatever. So I don't like the credit card company I work with, okay? So I was finally ready, and I've had them for about 8 years. So I was going to switch, and the guy asked me, well, what's the problem with the other company? I told him. So and this guy in the most professional, calm voice just kept like harassing me basically and trying to get more. And I was real busy, and I told him, I'll get this information to you next week. Well, the guy steady calling, you know, I need this, I need this, I need this. But I mean, he done it really well. I mean, the guy could have sold ice to an Eskimo, okay? So
yeah,
finally, I hung up on him. I said, "That's why I don't like them other people because they do the exact same thing you do, and now you're done." And I blocked him. He can't even
yeah,
get a hold of me because he couldn't be patient. Once he
right,
irritated me, and I was going to switch to him, but he
yeah,
wouldn't stop. He wouldn't let me do it on my terms. I mean, running a business by myself. You
yeah.
know, I don't have time to sit down and always talk for an hour with everybody.
I don't think people realize that. You know, like they're so focused on their own darn quota or whatever that they'll harass you behind some stuff. You know. And
And
it's
that
stuff
guy
that
did it
you would have
really
wanted
well.
anyway. You're like, oh, I would have wanted that anyway. Why are you bothering me? You
And I
know?
told him I even was getting everything, all the information he needed together to scan to email to him, and I was headed out the door, literally.
Yeah.
And I just made sure that our
Wow.
emails were okay. Then he was, well, I need to, and I said, oh, dude, you didn't listen to a word I said. You know, we
Yeah.
probably had two or three conversations prior to that one, and now he'll never, I'll never switch to him.
Yeah.
I'll find someone else. It'll, so, I mean, I got people calling me every day, so.
Yeah. It's crazy,
But I
man.
mean, that's just showing you when you stay on someone and not on their term, it's usually a
Yeah.
negative result.
It's uncomfortable, man. Especially like when, like here I come, right? Shaking their world values, like their, stuff they've learned, when they were children, that they've trusted their whole lives as being true, and then here I come and I want them to, see it all in one day. And this is what I think actually kind of did me, it really didn't do me a service, is like the first person that I went to tell. about the Earth being flat, right? And I already knew for like a year before I even opened my mouth up to anybody else, you know. And I told my friend, she's probably like in her late 60s or whatever, and I said, hey, you know, have you heard about this flat Earth stuff, right? And she goes, well, I just got done seeing my daughter in Indonesia, and I went around the world the other way, so I know that it's round, you know. And I said, well, no, it's like this, right? And I showed her like a plate, you know, and then going around like that. And then and then one more time, like we went to a restaurant to eat dinner, and then she said, well, what about all the moon stuff, right? And then this is the only thing I said. I said live television from the moon. And then
Right.
she like put her hands in her head, right? And she's like, man, you're right, you know. And I showed her one video, only one video of, she didn't even want to see ODD or Jeranism or anything. She wanted to see that pastor that did the sermon on it. I think Tyler Doka did it from that one church, and
Yeah.
she seen that one sermon, and she was that was it. She's a flat earther right
Right.
after that. In
And
one
see,
day.
and here's the thing, at the restaurant,
Yeah.
I mean, because she was seeking, because what you told her earlier, it made sense to her. Something clicked, and then at that restaurant, when you just said something that's so common sense, if we just see it for what it is, live TV from the moon, I mean, think
Right.
about that, you know. But if she would have shot you down right away with the globe thing earlier on the plate,
Yeah.
that would have probably just made her upset. But she was willing to see. All day she was probably, it was in the back of her mind, God talking to her, and then
Yeah.
needed something just to open her eyes to see it plainly, and that did it when you said about the moon. You
And
know,
and see, maybe like me so like maybe it was just because I only said a couple of things, like one thing at a time, you know. That it was kind of spread out, you know. But
well,
then, and
yeah,
I wanted her to come on, you know, come on the
right.
show and talk about like, because it was so easy with her. And then like we have this mutual friend that I think he went along with it just because we were doing it. But now
Okay,
he's finally a flat earther, right? But like he'll still ask a question or give me a picture
which
of a
is
planet.
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is she willing to come on?
Well, I wanted her. Yeah, I think she is because like she's always telling me she wants to, and then when it gets like time to do it, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's everybody, you know, but it's like, I get it. People get nervous or whatever, but she wants to like witness. This is like what she wants to do, and she
Check
feels
this
called to
out.
do it. Yeah.
Did you see one of the latest ones from Daniel Pratt, where he talks
Which
about
which
the
one?
four
Because I watched
corners,
the which one?
the four corners of the earth? It's one of his most recent videos.
Oh, maybe I haven't. Maybe
And
I
here's the
haven't.
thing, I think I'm gonna message him because he's interpreting that scripture wrong. Because he's saying it ain't a globe because the Bible clearly says four corners.
Right.
So he's thinking it's like a rectangle or a square. But that word
Oh, yeah,
corner
yeah.
means like one quarter, like if you were to take a pizza and cut it in four.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah, because the corners go. It's like the inside of the circle is where the point is.
Yes, it's just, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
take a pizza and cut it in half and cut it in half again. That's what it means.
Corn.
It's, quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I like some of his. I like some
I
of his
do
stuff,
too.
man. He
I
does
watch all
this.
of it.
He does this. He did kind of almost like a little mini series on this whole get in a vacuum chamber. I
Oh,
want you to get in a vacuum chamber, and
dude, tell me
man,
that was ingenious. I'm surprised no one thought about that sooner.
so like I think I've heard Mark Sargent at like he said something like he petitioned for universities to put him in the official NASA suit, put him in their vacuum and pull the switch, you know. But he didn't say put the other people, like put Simon Dan in there, you know, like Like I think that's better. Why are you gonna try to put yourself in there, man? You know that it's not gonna work.
Right,
But
right,
he won't. I guess Mark Sargent likes to double down and say, okay, well, they won't put me in there because they'll kill me, and
right,
the whole world will know or whatever. But
right.
I would much prefer if someone else went in.
Me too.
you
Buzz
know.
Aldrin.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Because I mean, I just don't know if I could live with myself, man, like that, man. I mean, we're talking about these people. It wasn't just America. These people went around the world. You know what I mean? As heroes.
Right.
And
I'll tell you, another guy I wouldn't mind seeing is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
oh yeah, yeah, this little smug self. He doesn't understand that how smug and just kind of repulsive he really is.
Yeah,
And
but those people love that on his side.
right. Well, yeah, yeah, because he's one of those people that's like, well, I have the truth on my side. We don't need to prove anything.
Right.
Like believe it or don't. But this is the way it is. And I think they got him just because of that type of attitude. Either
Yeah,
that
I showed that
or
one video where he says at 120,000 feet, that shit is flat.
that's right.
I sent that to the same brother I read this text from today. You know what he said? That was a voiceover.
Oh my
That
God, man.
I'm like, you can read his lips.
When people defend the globe like that. Because I mean, this is what I like nowadays. It's like because the debates go on and on and on, and they've really had nothing for so long. It's like now they just make up new stuff and come back.
Hmm.
And so I use some of these things that like they've kind of put together over the last few years, right? As like, okay, well, do you believe that like the air is bolted to the ground and spins in lockstep? And not only does it spin in lockstep, attached to the ground, right? But it flies around the sun and around the universe and around the galaxy, right? Right? All those motions, right? And it still blows wind back and forth, right? And that wind holds hot air balloons and airplanes to the earth as it's flying through space at like breakneck speeds in four different directions. Do you believe that?
You gotta ask yourself, when they had them high altitude balloons up there, what stops
Yeah.
them from getting sucked out into the vacuum of space? Right?
Exactly. Well, one guy was on Nathan's show, right? And he was saying that vacuums are real powerful, that if an astronaut didn't have his suit on, that it would suck his eyes out and and all kind of graphic stuff, right? And
Hmm.
then they were like, I forget who the guy's name is, but they were like, yeah, but what about the air, that top layer of air, like oh, it'll suck a guy's eyes out, but not like the top layer of like whatever air is up there. That's crazy to me, man. Like, how could you say those two statements? Like, oh yeah, the
Because
air is
both can't
cool.
be true.
Can't
They
be
both
true.
can't be true.
And this is their answer, is that well, every time flat earth comes up with something, there's an answer for it. But it's at the point now where, okay, yeah, you come back with an answer. You say bends around a curve, and you lift up all this mountain, 20 miles behind curvature, all the way up to where it looks perfectly flat, right? So yeah, you've explained that, right? And it's very complicated, and you got some equations, right? But do we believe that, man? I mean, do you really believe that that's what's happening? The light is bending around the curve to where it looks completely flat, never up a little bit, never to the side a little bit. It's always perfect. Like I was seeing it, you know, a straight shot,
Dude,
you
there
know?
wouldn't even, if gravity was real, there could be no such thing as dust, right? You
No,
couldn't
no,
blow dust off of anything and have it floating. I mean, because
that's
it's
right.
so powerful, it holds an ocean in upside down, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
a mosquito couldn't lift off. You couldn't walk.
Right. Well, I mean, I always put it like this, right? Like, I would be able to take some gravity and manipulate it. Like just like magnetism is invisible, I could take magnetism and make it stronger or weaker and manipulate it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be able to do the same thing with gravity, you know. And then they like to come up with this one, right? Oh, well, I can't give you a cup of air. I'm like, well, you
Yes,
could
you
put it in
can.
a balloon. You could, yeah, you could put it in a balloon. I mean, I'm sure there's air in the cup too. You know, it is a real thing that you can hand me, you know,
I'm sure
right?
there is. You can
Right,
put your
right.
nose inside of a cup and breathe.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then this was my favorite one, right? When I go, look, you can't have gas pressure without a container. And they go, oh, well, what about the air right in front of my face? Well, you are in a container, your whole self, right? Like that air pressure would not be in front of you if you weren't in a huge container,
I
right?
got a
You're in the
four-letter word
container.
for you, right, Steve? Dome.
Yeah, yeah. It's right in front of my face. There's air pressure. Are you telling me that that needs a container? Yeah,
It,
I am.
hmm
You're in
Especially,
it,
even more so according to their model, they'd have to.
right? Or when they say like, okay, well, when you have the two canisters, one of gas or the two whatever containers, and it's like they have gas on the lower one and then nothing on the top one. They release the thing, and all the air equalizes, you know.
Hmm
And they go, yeah, but on Earth, you know, it's because gravity holds it down. I said, well, no, no, no. They have all the gravity. They're on Earth.
hmm
They can use the gravity that's on Earth, all of Earth's gravity. You know, it's not like they've left Earth, right?
Right,
The,
right.
the gravity is in full force during that demonstration, and the air still equalizes.
Absolutely.
They act like the
Instantaneously, too,
yes, 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 in all directions.
in
Not
all
good.
directions. Yeah.
I like how Arwen said that because one guy someone said that to Arwen, right? That in all directions, including down. And then Arwen says, no, 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 not including down, in all directions. Like, yes, it goes down too, right? But it's not
Right,
down everywhere. It's everywhere.
right,
You don't overemphasize down. It's everywhere. It's not
right,
down.
right. That's a good, really good point.
Yes, I was like, man, sometimes he comes up with some good ones, man.
Hey, not to change the subject,
Yeah,
but I'm going to.
yeah.
Dude, I caught a monster this weekend.
I know you told me,
A
man. You told me.
giant, bruv.
How big was it again, man?
It's got to be a 25, 30 pound muskie.
Oh my God,
Dude,
man.
it was big. It's my personal best.
Did it almost take you out of the boat?
Dude, I'm a Hulk. Nothing
Oh,
takes me out the boat. You know what I'm saying, bro? That could have been a whale on the end of there. I got him in. Wait till you see. It's gonna take
yeah,
me a while to get the video because my nephew had a GoPro going too, and I
yeah,
need to get his clip. And I'm gonna make
yeah.
this video really, really,
Oh, I
hopefully
hope you're making like,
spectacular.
well, I hope you're making like some faces and everything, you know, and you can just like pump some music around it, you know. You know what
Man,
I mean? And
the
you
ending
just,
is epic.
just looking hardcore, pulling a fish out of the water.
Dude, this thing was, I mean, it was a giant. And I got to cut so much audio out because me and my nephew arguing back and forth because I'm telling him this one's coming in the boat. It's going in the live well. He's going on my wall. And he's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. And I'm like,
Oh,
dude, because it wasn't, I mean, it was trophy size, but we can
yeah.
get them, they're bigger. I want one bigger to put on the wall. I was just pumped, man.
Oh, he was telling you couldn't have it on the boat or whatever.
Because he knew it wasn't big enough.
Oh man.
Even though it's a giant, there's another class above this yet, and that's what we're going after is the ones above this one.
Yeah, but
But this thing's a
he was
giant.
kind of raining on your parade there a little bit, no?
No, keeping me straight.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good
Because I
then.
mean, we have a pack. Any one of us catches that giant, we're gonna mount it. And it wasn't. I mean, I knew once I got him to the boat and everything. I
Yeah,
mean, and then I knew he wasn't big enough that I wanted to keep yet.
yeah.
But prior to that, you know,
You thought this was the one.
oh, dude,
That's
man,
great, man. That's great, man. I need to do more stuff like that, you know, like just go experience nature and just get out there, you know. Cause like I went to my mom's to see my son the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a good time, man. My son's a monster, man. He's such a big kid, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I wasn't making a face like that in that picture, man. But it was a good picture, and I messed it up, man, by making some kind of weird face. But I was there hanging out with him, and I realized, like even though I was like, I still thought about God a lot when I was up there, right? That like I haven't taken a break from like keeping my head straight on God all the time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for that long of a time, and it started to scare me a little bit. Like, but then I'm like, you know what, man? That's I like there's some like that's not supposed to be how I'm supposed to operate on Earth, you know? Like there's I need to work on that, right? Like work because like I was like because I did wasn't thinking about God all the time that I was feeling scared and insecure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't take any breaks from this truth stuff, like some people they take breaks, every now and then or whatever, and it's probably good for them, and I just
Yeah.
keep my head all the time, and it's hard, dude. I didn't realize it, you know.
Yeah, I know. And to me, I feel a little bit guilty for taking too much of a break for the most part.
Oh, you got
But
to, man, you got to. It's killing me, man. I'm being honest with you, Tom, man. It's isolated me so much because it's harder to pretend that because when you go out in the world, you have to pretend the world's a ball. You got to pretend like politics matter, like everything on TV is true. Like I mean, you don't have to really believe that, but you have to operate like that. It is kind of true in a sense, just to get along. And
yeah,
it's
I
like
don't do any of that.
right, right. I know what you're saying, but it's like if you stay out of the worldview for so long in a row, it is hard to be out there with other people.
It
You feel
is.
unsafe. You feel unsafe almost,
Yeah, yeah.
because these people really don't know what's going on, and it's like eerie, man. It's like there's a it's like how can I explain it? It's like you know yeah, like there's a fire a foot away and nobody notices that it's there. And
Yeah.
they all walk around, and nobody notices. I'm looking right at it, like, you guys don't see this, man? Like, you don't see this? And that's what it feels like, because it's like I want to start talking to people about the truth, but then I'm like afraid to like, well, if I say too much, man, I might be, they might lock me up over here, man. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're better off being saying nothing than saying something that might get you in trouble. I get that absolutely,
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah,
go along with anybody if they bring something up. I tell them
yeah.
if you want me to tell you how I feel, I'm gonna. If not, don't ask. You know, 'cause
Right, right.
I'm gonna tell you. It's like the other day I stopped in a gas station, and of course I never wear a mask. And
Yeah.
I was leaving. There's this little old granny that had come in that was gonna pay for a gas wearing a mask. And as I was leaving, she asked the cashier if she could pay at another register. She goes, "That guy wasn't wearing a mask. Can I pay over here?" So I
Oh,
stopped,
God.
turned around. I was about to go back and say something, but God's like, no, 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 just go. And so I just left because I don't have to argue with anybody. If someone wants to be dumb, let them,
Yeah,
So she didn't say it to me. If she would have said something to me, fireworks would have came, but she didn't. So I just end up walking out and leave it at that. Because you're better off doing that than getting in trouble or causing issues for anybody.
yeah.
But I'm standing my ground with the mask thing. It's that simple.
Well, this is what baffles me, Tom, right? Is that I mean, everybody's out there with a mask on, right? But nobody's looked up what a virus is or what they can do or if the mask even helps or they don't know any of that stuff, but they do it anyway. I can understand if you looked up all that stuff because if there was a virus out there killing people, that's the first thing I'd want to look at. It's like, okay, what does a virus do? How does it act? What do I got to do? I want to find out everything.
Dude, there'd be dead bodies stacked up everywhere. You'd have ambulances going to every other neighbor's house.
Well, these people would die of the virus because they don't look anything up. You know what I mean? Like they
Hmm.
don't know that they don't even know that germ theory is still not even you know
Right.
theory
And I,
yet,
I
you
only
know?
I've only brought that up once to somebody, but just barely, because I my thing is before I even get into that, is at least show them the truth about the virus thing and the foods that we've been being fed and what you can do to counter that and how you can
Right.
fight off almost all these diseases with your diet. So I
Yeah.
kind of focus on that, and I did. So I've stayed away from the germ theory. For one, I don't know it well enough yet, even though I believe what they've said about it.
Yeah.
And two, that's just too much information for someone to take in.
It
And I
is.
and my main thing is to get people to start watching Dr. Kaufman,
Yeah.
his videos on the virus and stuff. Because once you're woke to that, then you can start waking to other things. But it's one little thing at a time. You
Right.
know,
It's not the best thing to start with, you know?
even me being, I consider myself a conspiracy theorist nut, even though I don't think they're conspiracies. Okay, I think that stuff's
Right.
real.
Yeah, me too.
Even that, when I get too much overload with so much truth coming out, I'll back off of some stuff for a while till I get a grasp on the one thing first, and then I'll start looking into it. And even though I believe these things,
Yeah.
and I know to be careful and to go slow,
Yeah. Yeah.
so someone brand new, I just want to at least get them accept and see one truth, especially the virus thing, because this is huge right now to know the truth about that, and I mean huge.
Yeah, it is. It's humongous. But like this is what baffles me, right? Is it like the earth, like the flat earth? I mean, that should be really the easiest one to prove, man.
Hmm.
Like out of all of them, because like just, I mean, the fact that we are just not moving and there is no curve, right? Like, I mean, that should be it. That's the whole kit and caboodle, you know?
Hmm.
And but like, but it's the how much people fight against it that is
Hmm.
the hardest part, you know? And I just can't understand why you'd want, like, why do you want it to be a ball? You know, that's what I want to ask people. Like, do you want it to be a ball? Is that what it is? Because even if I wanted it to be a ball, I couldn't trick myself into it, you know?
Hey, I was
Like,
watching a video from, the guy, the Door, Michael Pearl.
okay, yeah, yeah,
I think I sent you some videos of his before,
sure, sure.
because he has
Well,
some really good teachings. But at the last one I watched on him, he's outside and his congregation is outside, which I think is cool. Okay,
yeah,
at one point he talks about how the word is being spread, and he goes around the globe and makes like a finger movement with circling the
yeah.
globe with his finger. And then at the very end, I mean, it's like the last 10 seconds, um, they pan to the crowd, and there's a guy right in the middle of that crowd that gives the devil horn signs with both hands.
Oh my God, man.
And I don't, they're not in, everyone likes to use, well, that's the Texas Longhorn. Well, he's not from Texas, the
Right,
video.
right.
And I'm sure
Well,
they,
even the Texas law, like if you're a grown adult, right, and you
right,
haven't been to the University of Texas, then you know what you're doing, you know.
absolutely.
And but like just the fact that he's not a flat earther, but that he is into like biblical truth, right? Like at this point in flat earth, it should be pretty obvious that people have come to you by now and said, "Hey, look, the earth is flat," you know, and have
Right.
challenged you a little bit on it. And like this is the way I look at it now, is that like, man, if you're a pastor and you're not a flat earther yet, like that's pretty suspect. That means that you have a hard time letting go of old ideas that are bad, you know, just because it makes you uncomfortable, you know. And I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know what exactly is all in this 501c3 agreement with between people, how they do. I have no idea what the politics are, but I wouldn't even want to be involved with that if I was a church, you know? Like,
And they don't have to be tax exempt either. That's the thing. They got tricked
uh,
into doing that, and now it became the norm.
yeah,
Just like anything, you get tricked
yeah,
in a little bit here, a little bit there. Next thing you know, it's common. Just like showing ID, you don't have to show ID every time you get stopped by a cop. Because he wants to know who you are. None of his business. 40 years ago, they couldn't get away with it. Now it's just the normal. Anyone walk up to you, hey, what's your social security number, and you give it to them. Well,
yeah.
it's illegal to identify anybody by the social security number. Period.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, but it's
Learn.
so commonplace. Don't give it one time. and see what
Yeah.
happens. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, I've always get people that like are, they tell me, hey Dan, don't give out your information, man. People will, uh, impersonate you or whatever. And I've never been afraid of that. Well, I mean, if they do, they do. I got insurance on everything. That's not my problem. You know,
Hmm.
but because like if you get your bank card stolen, right? Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, right? But like you get all that money back minus a little bit, if
Hmm.
somebody steals your bank card, right? And it's like why should I focus in fear about that, right? While the bank, who's really responsible for that, I mean, I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna get the guy anyway because it leaves a paper trail.
Well, this is what I don't get. My the the place I process my credit cards to is out in California. Why
Yeah.
doesn't my bank do it? Why can't I just go straight to my bank and have it everything there? Why aren't they making money off of that? Why don't they
Right.
source it
Right.
out? Because I mean, the
Yeah.
money goes straight to my business account.
Right.
I mean, because
Right.
it's just a big, huge. It is a global thing, and I hate to use that word. I guess it's a plain thing.
It's a weird how they do it, isn't it?
It is. It's a setup.
It is absolutely. It's a setup. Everything is a setup. Like I remember being like, like working at my first jobs that I worked at when I was a teenager, and
Hmm.
just kind of mentally doing the math of like this is how much they spend on stuff, and this is how much they charge for stuff, and I always wonder like how do they make money? Like they're not profiting, Like
Right.
most businesses run their business like crap, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, how did they even stay afloat? They're always in the red, everything. And I'm like, man, it just seems simple that you should try to make a profit.
Right.
But like
But
there was these companies that would open up in where I lived in the Bay Area, with all these .coms and stuff, and like the way they would make money is they'd open up a business, right? And then they would operate that business for a little while, but like really run it in the red. They're not even making any money. Then
hmm
at the very end of like the quarter, they'll fire everyone except for like their best employees, like just a skeleton crew, and then profit one big time right before the stock report came out, and then they'd sell the business, and
wow.
that's when they got paid is when they sold the business. But it's really just a screwy math kind of
Just
thing,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and and the people that bought the next business, they're not trying to profit from it either. They're just gonna run it and try to do the same thing, increase the value
Absolutely.
and sell it. And the people working there are the ones that get screwed, are the people that buy the stocks and stuff. You
Yep. And
know,
the top 1% take the money and run.
Yeah, it's a scam. The whole thing is a scam, and all those .coms, they pretty much popped at once. And
Right.
and when the .coms moved in, like our rents were like, I don't know, my rent was like 600 for a one bedroom, right?
Hmm.
And then it went up to like, I don't know, like 14, 1500 for a one bedroom, and this was in the 90s, right? And it popped, and no one could afford to live anywhere because there's no jobs, that were
Right.
paying big money. And so you'd have to get like 4 or 5 roommates, man. It was horrible, man.
Right.
Dear Heavenly Father, I turn to you today. I repent of all my sins. I believe that your Son, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for my sins and was resurrected to life on the third day. And forevermore he lives. Father, I ask of you to baptize me with the Holy Spirit right now. Change my heart and renew my spirit. I invite you, Jesus, to enter into my heart. Change me, save me, and be the Lord of my life. Right now, in your mighty name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.